gamer fans, the king of elite runners, Elite Godson is here for more 100 weapon tier list of Pixel Gun 3D. This is part 11. Quick disclaimer, I have not been doing any recent uploads for the past few months or weeks, to be more exact. I'm not sure which to prefer anyway, because I've been busy on thinking of thumbnail thumbnail ideas, and thanks to the person who commented me on that video, I'm not sure which one, I think it's like part 9 or part 8, big shout out to you, by the way, for a helpful idea for thumbnail suggestions and whatnot, and I do have a perfect one I have in mind. And another thing as well too is I've been busy making other gaming projects as well too, so that will be still come into play, but I'll be doing more Pixel Gun 3D videos on this, and also Minecraft videos as well too. But don't forget, for Minecraft videos, it's mainly just going to be only game build creation projects I just made from like my childhood memory times, or your guys' favorite childhood memory times as well too. But anyways, enough talk with that. We're going to start with part 11 of Pixel Gun 3D 100 weapon tier list, starting off with number 102, and unfortunately there's no number 101 because most of the weapons are not approved or not in the actual list because some of them were been way previous updates ago and whatnot. So anyways, number 102, the ultrasonic rifle. I did do a test run of this anyway when swapping over with the reflector and whatnot. The only downside, it has a semi-auto, and it can still be possible cast spams if you have the reflector or laser bouncer on this one. So I would say it is a possibility for a cat spam type category, but I will definitely recommend for decent casuals or maybe like moderates and low level players. But for high level players, they want to find a better better sniper, because the only downside, like I said, is the semi-auto. It only takes like 3 shots per ammo usage as well too. So ultrasonic rifle, I will definitely recommend, would be a possibility cat spam weapon, and for casual players, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. Next up is the electronics burner. For this one, it cannot be cat spam because it's a special type category and it has the flamethrower ability for it. Not much you can do about it anyway. Decent reload, pretty good ammo as well too. For this one, I will definitely not recommend for cat spams, but for casuals, I will probably say low level players for this one. And I believe for this one is the first ever revamped Battle Pass, which is no longer called Battle Pass anymore. It's now called the Pixel Pass, and I believe you get this first from your starter for the Pixel Pass. No, sorry, I believe you get this from the mid tier, and I believe the max tier is this one, but this one will be like the starting, and these two will be like the mid tier sections. But speaking of the mid tier section, this next one, the Hounds RX03. This one has a delay, so no for cat spams, but it does have a pretty good reload and pretty decent amount of ammo as well too for a backup. For casuals, I will definitely recommend for lows, moderates, and high level players as well too, because of the fast fire rate as well, and I believe it does have like the area damage on it. It does. So for this one, no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows, moderates, and highs in this one. Moving up next is the System Scorpion. I do see a few folks use this weapon anyway. It does have random rockets and a little bit of like a burning effect or something on it. No, it's just only the random. It's no. I can't speak right. There's no random rockets on this one, but the best thing about it, it's like the similarity as the perfect rocket launcher from part 8 or 9, I'm not sure which. But System Scorpion, there's only few things about it anyway. Not much I can say. It's only like 2 hits to like anywhere in general, but for this one, I'm not sure if it is possible for cat spams. I believe it has like the same delay as the Pixel Cola Refresher. If it does, then I'll probably say possible, but it may have a little bit of a slightly longer delay when trying to swap over two weapons for cat spams. But for this one, I will say for casuals, for around lows, moderates, and highs. But System Scorpion, I will probably say it's a good weapon to go for anyway. And if there's going to be a huge battle against this one and Perfect Rocket Launcher because of the no self-damage, it will probably have to be a pretty good battle tournament as well to see which one's better for the no self-damage category. But the only downside about it is that System Scorpion is not in the Battle Royale gameplay, but in the actual Battle Royale, the perfect rocket launcher. I can't say right. I can't redo. System Scorpion is not in the Battle Royale gameplay in this one, but the perfect rocket launcher is. So, if anything in general, System Scorpion, good for all categories except for Battle Royale because it's not shown in the actual game. But for Perfect Rocket Launcher, definitely for all categories in this one, for like all maps. Next up is the Rumble. This one you get in the Elite Tier challenge from the ever first revamp of the Battle Pass. I'm just going to call it Battle Pass anyway, but it's called Pixel Pass anyway. It has a pretty good standard ammo usage and pretty decent fire rate and pretty fast reload as well. But the only downside is that it cannot be cat spammed because it has a delay in it. So no for cat spams. For casuals, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. Next up is the Experimental Rifle. This one is an OG type category weapon for cat spams. And yes, for decent casuals, for lows, moderates, and highs. The best thing about it, it has a shield to protect you when trying to reload your weapon for your sniper category. So for this one, OG type weapon for cat spams, and casuals for all level players in this one. The Jet Spear. For this one, I do see a few folks use it for a whole lot of polling cat spams. For like polling, there's like 3 different types, like I said numerous times, but I'll say it again. There's 3 different type of category cat spam weapons. Standard cat spams, polling weapon cat spams, and dash ability cat spams. You'll see a few folks use Jet Spear anyway, but the only downside, and I know a few folks are a little bit annoyed as well too, but they did actually remove polling weapons and dash weapons in Knife Party, but it can still be used around any type of maps except for Knife Party, because that's a banned weapon to use anyway, because a whole lot of folks don't have most of these weapons anyway, and a whole lot of people do, and it feels like it's an unfair advantage anyway. So for this one, I will definitely recommend for categories of the OG spots and cat spams, because I do see a few folks use it, but it will have a slight delay. But for casuals, I'm just going to recommend for all categories in this one, because there's going to be a whole lot of folks just using this weapon anyway, just to annoy people that don't have it, and will just definitely like rage quit immediately for it. Next up is the Tactical Scorcher. This one is, I believe, the most annoying weapon because of its like very fast fire rate, and also like a flamethrower type weapon. It cannot be cat spammed, but is a primary weapon. But for this one, no for cat spams. Yes for casuals, for probably all categories in this one anyway. Because the only thing about it is that it has like a laser ability, and the burning ability, like it just like annihilates like in like roughly 2 seconds in this one, because of the damage per second. Next up is the Siege Minigun. This one, no for cat spams because it's a minigun ability. It has a very huge ammo usage, and its reload, I'll probably say, is decent, and it does have the damage during reload as well. But unfortunately, the other downside, it has no scope on it. Because like you can see I'm trying to like right click, and it does have the scope ability on it, but so this one, no scope on this. But for Siege minigun, I will definitely recommend for casuals around like lows and moderates only. But for high level players, I've never seen a whole lot of folks use it, but I'm not sure about for bots. Bots maybe sometimes use specific weapons, like from the original Pixel Gun 3D previous updates. But for Siege minigun, I'm not sure if I do see bots use this weapon anyway. Moving right along is the Thermal Mecha Knife. I do see a few folks use this in Knife Party because of its huge area damage and so on and so forth. It can like entirely one hit to the head and I believe 2 hit to the body. It can be a good weapon for a good swap over as well too for like any type of category like cat spam weapons. But I believe it will have a slight delay in it. But for this one, I'll probably say it's an OG type category in this one, but it will have a delay in it. But I'm just going to put it out there anyway. But I'll definitely recommend for casuals for all categories, and it's good for Knife Party in this one. So if you're having issues and whatnot, and need a good fast XP grind, Thermal Mecha Knife will be your go-to thing because of its area damage effect as well. And best thing about it, it will have disable jumps on it. Next up is the Disruptive Howitzer. I apologize if I mispronounced that name. For this one, it's a sniper category. Yes, for cat spams, it's an OG type weapon. Massive area damage as well. The only downside, it has a slow reload, and not much you can say about it. But it has a pretty decent amount of ammo as well. So for this one, I would definitely recommend for cat spams, it's an OG type weapon. But for casuals, I will definitely recommend for all categories in this one. But like I said, the only downside is the reload on this one anyway. So Disruptive Howitzer, I will probably say yes for cat spams and all categories for casuals. Next up is the Anti-Aircraft Module. This one will be a little bit annoying. I believe it will be a possibility for a cat spam, but I will say no for this one because of the manual guidance you have to do anyway, and it will have a slight delay in it. It has a decent amount of ammo as well too, because you can just go through just like one single thing at a time, and you just keep on spamming through. It's like a similarity as the Siege Mode Gauntlets from my previous parts of my videos. But I will definitely recommend for casuals around lows and moderates only. For high-level players, they can find like other weapons as well too, but they can still use this as well too if you want to do like fast XP grind as well. But the only downside, like I said, it cannot be cat spammed because of the manual guidance with these rockets. Like you can see them, like I'm just going around and around and around. Not much you can do about it anyway. Next up is the Engineering Saw Thrower. I believe I did get this from the trader's van and whatnot. This may be a possibility for a cat spam. If it's not, then it's a no-go on this one. It has a pretty decent amount of like damage for as well too, including with the effect as well too for the bleeding. Slow reload, decent amount of ammo. I will definitely not recommend for cat spams. If it has like a delay, then no go on this one. But for casuals, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. And the best good thing about it, it has a ricochet ability for it as well. So it's kind of almost like the boomerang a little bit, but this one has like a ricochet with a whole bunch of like weapons that have a whole bunch of ricochet weapons, like the Sharp Chaser, the Magical Boomerang, and the Marooning Anchor. Next up is the... I do apologize if I mispronounce this name. Corpuscular Revolver. That one's really hard to do anyway. This one, it will have a like no delay in it when swapping over to weapons, but I will definitely not recommend for cat spams unless if there are players with like pretty standard, not standard, like pretty mastered level cat spam people out there that use this weapon, then I will definitely recommend in the OG category, so I will definitely put it on there. But for casuals, I will definitely recommend for all categories in this one. The only downside, like I said, will be like a charge shot ability, like it can like one hit entirely to anything, like to the body or to the head. It has a pretty decent reload and good ammo usage as well too. But be aware, if you're using this weapon, it will have a charge shot in it. So you have to be very mindful about it and just have to like wait at the right time before it's like about to like be now. So for the Korpulsker Revolver, I do apologize if I mispronounced that name. I'll definitely put in the OG category for cat spams because there's a whole lot of folks that have a whole lot of expert plays with this as well too. And for casuals, all categories in this one. Uranium Grenade Launcher. I do believe for this one, it's a no-go for cat spams because it will have a delay in it, and the biggest downside, it has slow reload and only like fires one ammo at a time. So for this one, you have to be very mindful about it, but I would definitely not recommend for cat spams, but for casuals, I will say for lows and moderates only in this one. Next up is the Golden Eagles. I do have a huge backstory about it. For this one, I did not actually get the Golden Eagles when I was trying to figure out how people got it. It's actually from the free currency chest in the mobile version of this game as well. So what you actually have to do is that you have to go into the free currency box where it shows like the gems and the coins and whatnot. For the Golden Eagles, you have to watch a few ads. Like the first one you'll get is coins, then the next one would be gems. And then the third and final one would be this weapon right here, the Golden Eagles. I do believe I did get this weapon from the Trader's Van, from the Community Trader's Van for this one. Excuse me, sorry. Had a little hiccup. For this one, I will definitely say it's an OG type weapon. It's the same similarity as the Dual Hawks from the very first video I did for my 100 weapon tier list of Pixel Gun 3D. But I believe the only difference about it is it has a little bit more ammo as well too. And it's just the same thing as the Dual Hawks. But like I said, I think it has like more ammo in it. So for Golden Eagles, OG cat spam weapon for casuals, all categories. And I believe for the starter for beginner players, for mobile people at the level 1, they can actually get this from the free currency box, but I believe you have to be a specific level to get it. I think around level 3, you start getting the currency, the add currency chest in your main lobby. Oh boy, I'm not ready for these three over here. These three right here are the tournament weapons right before they did a huge changeover and whatnot. I believe these three were from the 10-year anniversary of Pixel Gun 3D. For this one, I had a hard time getting most of these weapons anyway. Or I think they were. No, I think actually these weapons were from the changeover of the tournaments. So for this one, the Wayfarer, the Fate, and the holographic cards. These two right here cannot be cat spammed because of a delay. I did do a test run for this one, but the only downside, it has a little slight delay in it. So no for this one. But definitely yes for the Fate in this one. Because of its, not sure about ability-wise, but its ammo usage is pretty decent. I believe it's like 7. Yeah, it's 7. And you can use it in Sniper Forts as well, too. So, Wayfarer, no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows and moderates. But do remember, you had to actually get these in tournaments. So, for these ones, you need to get these in a tournament, in the tournaments to claim these weapons. So, Wayfarer, no for cat spams, yes for casuals for all categories in this one. But definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this. The Fate, yes for cat spams. Yes for category casuals for all players in this one. Holographic cards, no for cat spams, yes for casuals for lows and moderates. But be aware, these three, you need to get them in tournaments. Next up is the Mutation Cannon. This one is an elite tier battle pass from the Mutation season. The only downside is that it has a charge shot ability, and it will turn the enemy into a alien. I think it is. I'm not sure, but I think it is an alien. Because the pew pew rifle turns them into a little bug. Then the witch's cauldron turns into a sheep. So this one definitely has to be the alien one. So no for cat spams in this one, and for casuals, I'll definitely recommend for only low-level players, because with the well experience, trying to learn about charge shot abilities and also what to do for this as well too. Next up is the C4 basket. I did do a few gameplay matches in this as well. It can entirely one hit anywhere closer by to the enemy when you have a direct hit on contact. It will have a slight delay, so I will say possibility for a cat spam, but if it, I do believe it has a slight longer delay in it. So I would still put it on there for the cat spam category anyway, because there's a whole lot of folks that have well experience with this weapon anyway. It does have like a few nerfs way back, but not much you can say about it anyway. But for casuals, I would definitely recommend for all categories in this one. Next up is the head of statue. This one cannot be cat spammed, unfortunately. It does have like a ricochet ability, similar as the Cyclops sling. For this one, there's not much you can say about it, because it was like fire off like one ammo at a time, and you had to like reload it. So definitely a no-go for cat spams, but for casuals, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. Next up is the tank turret. I don't see a few folks use this weapon anyway, because I see maybe only like most folks use it around like knife party and whatnot, but not a whole lot of matches like in teamfight for like classic pool or silent school or whatever. Like most of the maps, just mainly like in knife party. For this one, it can maybe not be cat spammed. I'm not sure, because it will have a slight delay in it. I do know that one for sure. The best thing about it is it has a critical damage, disable jumps, and super punch. For the super punch, I do believe is a 2 activation, and then the third one will be the super punch. So it's really fun to use and whatnot. Tank turret, I will definitely recommend for casuals around lows and moderates. And for high-level players, they can use this as well too for fast XP grind, and it's good for knife party. Next up is the Space Parasite Dreadnought. This one's a sniper category. It cannot be cat spammed because of the charge shot ability. That's the only biggest downside about it. It has a super slow reload speed on it. Pretty decent amount of ammo. But for casuals, I would definitely recommend for all categories in this one. Well, technically not all categories, just mainly for lows and moderates. Next up is the Space Parasite Fighter. This is the same similarity as the Dreadnought one in this one. It's a semi-auto primary weapon. Decent reload, good ammo usage, but no for cat spams, but yes for casuals, for lows and moderates. Next one is the... I forgot about this one. The Alien Parasite Mothership. It's the cousin of the solar flare for this one, because of its plasma rocket and the area effect. But the only biggest downside, not the biggest downside, but the biggest good news about it has like a very slow plasma area effect for it. And I believe this is the only weapon with the plasma rocket and the area damage as well too that has the ammo restore ability for it. So for this one, it will have a delay, so no for cat spams, but yes for casuals, for lows and moderates, and maybe very well experienced high-level players, but most people would just use it anyway, just to annoy anyway, because they think Solar Flare is better, and the other weapon as well too, the Tommy Atom or something else like that. I'm really hard to figure out names anyway. But moving up next is the Bad Clown. I did use this during the Halloween gameplay as well too, but I don't have an actual gameplay footage to show you anyway. But for this one, I did actually use this mostly like in actual just gameplays like offline camera, like offline and whatnot, just for me to grind. This one's a really good weapon. It will have a slight delay in it, but if you just time it right, it is possible for cat spams. So I will definitely recommend this for an OG type weapon, and for casuals, all categories in this one. Disturbing balloons, it will have a delay, and the only downside, it has like travel time in it, and pretty decent reload, good ammo usage, but the downside, like I said, is like travel time and whatnot. So I had to be very mindful about it. So this one, no for cat spams, and yes for casuals. Definitely recommend for moderates and low level players in this one. The clown chainsaw, you can use this in knife party. For just like fast damage per second kills in this one. Has the bleeding ability. Really fun to use for knife party. No for cat spams because it will have a delay in it. Yes for casuals, for lows and moderates in this one. Next up is the, I want to say irritated but irradiated SMG. This one's like the super fast cousin of the Neon Fighter. It has a pretty fast reload and good ammo usage. I would definitely recommend this for casuals for all categories, but it cannot be cat spammed in this one, unfortunately, because of the automatic weapon. And the best thing about it, it does have the weakening ability, which I didn't know at first. Next up is the Mutant Fish. It's a primary automatic weapon, no for cat spams. Yes for casuals, for all, not for all, lows and moderates only for this one. Pretty good ammo usage and decent reload as well too for that one. Most of these weapons are trying to like speed up through anyway, because I don't want to make most of my videos like an hour long anyway, because there's a whole lot of like talk about anyway. Next up is Spiky Limbs. It does have a charge shot ability. It cannot be cat spammed because it will have a delay in it. But for casuals, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. For the charge shot, if you just aim directly at it, it can possibly be like a one hit. But if you only do it around like the area where it's at, it can mainly be like a 2 to 3 hits in anyway. Next up is Deadly Flower. This one will be a cat spam weapon, but it will have a delay if you use Laser Bouncer or Reflector in it. It does have 6 ammo, so that's pretty decent, and its reload is a little bit slow. But Deadly Flower, I would definitely recommend for OG type category weapon for cat spams, and for casuals, I will definitely recommend for all categories, and I believe it can be used in sniper forts. Next up is the Automatic Injector. This one's a pretty good weapon to use because the best thing is teammates' healing ability. It can be really useful for clan raids and minigame raids in this one as well. But the only downside, it has a pretty slow reload, and it has an amazing amount of ammo as well too. So Automatic Injector, no for cat spams. Yes for casuals for all categories, and good for clan raids and minigame raids to help out your allies. Next one up is the Antidote Missile Launcher, or Missile to be more specific anyway. The Antidote Missile Launcher, it did had a few issues at first when it was first introduced, because it had a very low damage rate, but I believe it did have a few buffs in, and now it's doing a lot more better, but I think, to my perspective, it still seems a little bit more low damage anyways, because of its tiny area damage and whatnot. It has a pretty good amount of ammo as well too, and a decent reload as well. But it will have a delay in it, so no for cat spams, but for casuals, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. I'm about halfway there. Next up is the Purifying Shotgun. This one cannot be cat spams because of delay in it, but the only biggest downside about it as well too is that they did have to do a changeover to the bonus points. because I believe this one, it can be bonus kill points, and fortunately they change over to bonus assist points. But the good thing about it is that if you're out of ammo, you can use the chainsaw ability as well too to help you out just in case. Next one up is the Mutant Slayer. It can be used in Knife Party, I believe. It's the similarity as the Berserker exoskeleton. There's not much I can say about it, so no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows and moderates in this one. Because it's the same thing as the Berserker exoskeleton. The Mutagen Neutralizer, you can get this in the Elite Tier Battle Pass from the Antidote season. The best thing about it is it's the same thing as the Easter Sniper. I forgot the name. I think it's called... No, that's the primary. The Watchy Snippy, I think that's what it's called. You guys might want to help me out in the comment section anyway. I think it's the Watchy Snippy. That has a similarity weapon like this one with the Mutagen Neutralizer because of the contact detonator. But the only difference about it is that this one has the enemy detector while the Watchy Snippy doesn't. Both of them, I believe, can be used in sniper forts, and this one's an OG category weapon anyway. But be aware, you have to be like very accurate on your shots as well too, because don't forget it has the contact detonator, so you have to be very mindful about it. And you have to like aim like exactly where you had to be at anyway. So OG type weapon for cat spams and for casuals. Mainly just all categories. Moving up next is the Crystal Division weapons. Almost most of these weapons can be cat spammed, but only one of them does. The Rune Buster, no, because of the... I know it's a shotgun, but it will have a delay in it. The Iceworm Horns, yes, for cat spams in this one. Runic Sentinel, no, it will have a delay. Crystal Touch, definitely no, and whatnot because of the flamethrower ability. Crystal Bow, possibility and whatnot, but the only downside is the charge shot. And the Enchanted Crystal of Ancients, possibly, but it will have a delay, so no in it, because of the manual guidance, technically. And the best thing about these weapons anyway is that when I did actually get these, when I was playing through, almost like most of these weapons are like the best ones to go for because it has the secret ability of the ammo restore, and the Runic Sentinel, it can definitely heal you with HP and definitely with armor as well too. So Crystal Division weapons for these ones, I will definitely say it's a pretty good weapon standard. No for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows and moderates. Yes, for an OG category type weapon for cat spams, and casuals for lows, moderates, and highs. No for cat spams, yes for casuals for all categories. No for cat spams, yes for low level players only. Possible for cat spams, but if it has a delay, then no. Yes for casuals for lows and moderates, and experienced high level players as well too. The Enchanted Crystal of Ancients, no for cat spams because I believe it will have a delay in it and the manual guidance. But for casuals, yes for all categories in this one. Full Moon Rifle. It's an automatic type weapon. It cannot be cat spammed because of the automatic type. It does have like the blindness ability in it, so that's really helpful. Well, I don't know why really helpful, but I don't know why to put it on there anyway, but Full Moon Rifle, no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for those and moderates in this one. Firefly's Blessing. This one, I did have this, I did actually use this weapon anyway for one of my friends' suggestion to like do like a 4 type category cat spam anyway. The only downside is that it has a flamethrower ability, So I will definitely recommend this for casuals, for lows and moderates, but it cannot be cat spammed because of the flamethrower type ability. Branch of Wisdom. This one is a yes for cat spams. The only downside, it has like only 2 hits to the head, I believe. Well, possibly and whatnot, but you can kind of tell I'm having a hard time trying to just aim correctly at it. It can be used in sniper forts. It can be like 1 to 2 hits to the body or 1 to 2 hits to the head, depending on the player, of what modules they have and what level there are as well too. So an OG type category for cat spams, and for casuals, all categories. The Eternal Light. I did notice my clan leader used this weapon anyway, but I think they did a little bit of a changeover or whatnot. Previously, it was like 24 ammo. Now it's like 16 ammo. It still has the ammo restore. But the only downside is that I think they changed it to be no longer cat spammed, unfortunately, because it will have a delay in it. But for this one, it does have pretty fast fire rate and pretty fast reload. And it has the ammo restore ability for it and the ricochet, kind of similar as the laser cycler. But remember, it will have a delay in it, so no for cat spams, but for casuals, all categories in this one. And I think, if I stand corrected, I think for this one, it will be possible for teammates healing in this one. I think that might be the secret thing. I'm not sure which anyway. Next up is the Mirror. The Mirror. Not sure how to pronounce it anyway. There will be a few folks use this weapon anyway, because it will have a slight delay, but it can be a possible for a cat spam weapon anyway. Pretty decent reloads, good ammo usage well too. I think it was like 3 before, but now it's like 6. So that's the biggest, so that's like a good change right there anyway. You can actually get this from the Elite Tier Challenge from the Winter Wonderland season. Mirror, I will definitely recommend for an OG type of category, and for casuals, lows and moderates, and very well high experienced players as well too. We are almost done. Next up is the Otherworldly Wanderer. For this one, I did do a few test runs with this weapon anyway, because I'm trying to find like Christmas cat spam weapons anyway. This one will be a possible cat spam, but it will have a huge delay when swapping over weapons. So no on this one, because of the travel time, swapping over with weapons, and not much I can say about it anyway. But for casuals, I'll definitely recommend for lows and moderates and high experienced level players as well too. The Dark Deer Bow, it's the same similarity as like the Crystal Bow from the Crystal Division weapons, but the only thing about it, it has like target freeze ability, which I'm not sure how that goes anyway. But the only thing, it has like the charge shot, and it can be a little bit annoying as well too for this weapon. But roughly most of the people use this anyway for like Christmas time and whatnot. But this one, it may be possible for cat spams, but it will have the charge shots, so no for me. For casuals, I will definitely recommend for all categories in this one. The Reflected Santa Sword. This is like the best weapon of all times, because I think it is like the very first introduction of like the rockets, like the rocket speed for it. And I believe, I'm not sure if you can use it in a knife party. If it does, then it'll definitely be a good weapon to use anyway. It does have the Super Punch ability, so 2 activations, and then the third one will be the Super Punch. The Super Punch is the rockets, in case you're wondering. For this one, I will definitely maybe not recommend for cat spams, because it may have a delay in it. But for casuals, all categories in this one. Next up is the Combat Fireplace. This one's like the pretty fast, excuse me, almost got me another hiccup again. Combat Fireplace, it's the same similarity to almost like another type weapon, which I'm not going to say yet, because it'll probably be in part 12. Combat Fireplace, it's an automatic type weapon, pretty good damage per second, fire rate, decent amount of ammo, and decent reload as well too. For casuals, I would definitely recommend for lows and moderates, and maybe a little bit for high level players as well too. But it cannot be cat spams because of the automatic type weapon. Next up is the combat candy machine. I just almost said combat candy entirely because that's from another weapon I'm gonna say later on anyway. Because I think I already said it anyway from part 8 or part 9. Not sure which one to which. But combat candy machine, it's the same summary as like the candy revolver a little bit, but for this one, it will have a delay in it, so no for cat spams, but yes for casuals, for lows and moderates in this one. The only downside about it is that when it says like combat candy machine, because of the reload, it just like inserts a coin in, and I was really hoping that it has like the ability for like just a coin drop chance as well too. So that's the only biggest downside for me anyway. But the bright side, it has like the heal while reloading and whatnot ability, which I didn't know about that at first. So combat candy machine, no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows and moderates. Almost done. Gift Stealer. This is another weapon as well too for a pulling type ability. It's a special one as well too. It's a cousin of the vertical grip device. If you don't have that weapon, then definitely go for a Gift Stealer in this one. You'll see a bunch of folks using any like pulling weapons as well too for like cat spams, because like I said, like a bajillion times, 3 different type of cat spams: standard, pulling cat spams, and dash cat spams. So for this one, I would definitely recommend for an OG type category, and for casuals, all level players for lows, moderates, and highs. Tricky Gingerbread. This one's a yes for cat spams because of the critical ability, and it does have the scope on it as well too. Recommended for sniper forts as well too if you want, and I believe it also sniper tournaments. Decent amount of ammo, but the biggest downside, it has the reload as well too, so you have to be very mindful about it. Not much I can say, so this one I will definitely put in the OG category for cat spams. And for casuals, I will definitely say for all level players in this one, for lows, moderates, and highs. Next up is the end of Fairy Tale. The only downside, it has like no scope, because you can tell about the butterfly scope. Like that should be a thing on there as well too, but it's not. The best thing about it, it has like the damage boost for allies to help you out just in case. It's the same summary as the Call of Valhalla and also Golden Eagles. No. Golden Bros. Sorry, Golden Bros. I don't know why I said Golden Eagles. I meant to say Golden Bros. My apologies. And also the Exquisite Bagpipes as well too for the damage boost as well too for the allies to help out. But it cannot be cat spammed, unfortunately, because it's a minigun weapon. For casuals, I will definitely recommend for lows and moderates in this one. The Fairies Poleaxe. I don't know what was going on right there anyway. For this one, it's a 2 activation for a Super Punch, and the third one is the Super Punch ability. It's really like fun to use. I believe you can use this in Knife Party as well. The best thing about it is that for the Super Punch, it like leaves like a big like area around. So it's like really helpful anyway. It cannot be cat spammed because it will have a delay in it. Because it will like, when you swap over, it'll just be like a little stick. But it'll come out with the wings as well too. So Fairies Poleaxe, no for cat spams. Yes for casuals, for low level players, and a little bit for moderates. And it's definitely good for Knife Party in this one, because of the area damage included. And best thing about it, has the healing ability, which is my favorite as well too. Butterfly Eater. This one, it will have a very huge delay in it, so I'll definitely put in the OG type category, because there's a whole lot of folks that have very well experienced cat spams in this one. The best thing about it, it has like no reload, except that when you try to fire it, it'll just do like 1 second reload because you have like a limited amount, not like unlimited, like limited amount of ammo before it does like the reload and whatnot. But Butterfly Eater, I'll definitely put in the OG category because there's a whole lot of experienced players with this weapon for cat spams. And for casuals, all categories in this one. And it's also good for rocket jumping, and it has like no self-damage included. Except if you aim at a wall, though. Almost like 10 more to go. Next up is Handy Darts. It cannot be cat spammed because it's like a semi-auto, it's a semi-auto ability weapon for the backup. It does have a pretty decent reload and good ammo usage, but the only downside for the ammo usage is that it only takes like 3 per shot. So you have to be very mindful about it as well too. It's like a similarity as like the last squeak and other weapons as well too. So Handy Darts, no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows and moderates only. Oh boy. This is not going to be a fun one for me. Spirit's Whisperer, it's the same cousin as the Battle Falcon, because you'll see like thousands of folks use this, especially for the cousin of the TV as well too. Spirit's Whisperer is the most annoying one of all, but the best thing about it, it has like the damage during reload as well too. No, sorry, teammates healing while reloading, which I didn't even know at first. But you'll see like most folks use it in Classic Pool, just like to be like underground and whatnot, while folks are just up on the rooftops and you just keep on firing whatever they like anyway. But Spirit's Whisperer, no for cat spams because with its delay, but for casuals, lows and moderates only for this one because no high level players will use this anyway because they wanted to annoy people with it anyway. And I believe it's also the cousin for the Ice Club as well too, which I forgot to put it out there as well too. And most people will just rage quit immediately if they're just going to use this weapon anyway just for fun because of the consecutive explosion and whatnot. Next up is the Makeshift Piercer. This is a good weapon to use. The only downside, it has a very small hitbox for the area damage in this one. It has a pretty slow reload and pretty decent amount of ammo as well too. You can actually use this in sniper tournaments and sniper forts, and I believe it will be a cat spam weapon unless it has a delay, then no. So Makeshift Piercer, yes for cat spams, unless it has a delay, then no. But for casuals, I will definitely recommend for lows, moderates, and a little bit for high level players as well too. Next up is the Battle Kusarigama. I do apologize if I really mispronounced that name wrong. But this one, it does have like the same ability as the Marooning Anchor and the Magical Boomerang, and I believe the other weapon, which I forgot what the name was anyway as well. But the best thing about it, it has like I said, the boomerang ability and whatnot. But the reload is like really fun to use anyway, because for the reload, it just like swings the other part of the weapon around as well too on my left hand. So for this one, I'll probably say no for cat spams because it will have the delay ability for it. But for casuals, definitely recommend for lows, moderates, and maybe high experienced players as well too. And it's also good for XP grinds as well. Next up is the Temple Claws. You actually get this weapon from the Elite Tier Battle Pass from the... I forgot the actual name of it, but it's like from the Chinese New Year event as well. But Temple Claws, it's a dash ability. It's really hard to actually get like one hit because I believe it did have a few nerfs. But it did had a skin changeover as well too for more like adds like special unique effects in it. But for this one right here, I'll definitely recommend this for cat spams as well too, like for dash cat spam players for any type of dash weapons they use. And for casuals, I would say for lows, moderates, and also high level players as well too. And you can also use this for clan rates and minigame rates as well too, to just do faster speed runs. But the only downside, it has this weapon banned from Knife Party only in this one. So any dash weapons or pulling weapons from the melee category have been banned from a Knife Party. The last two, I know these two right here I'm gonna have to do anyway, but I know this one right here I'll probably do in the next video anyway and explain more about it. But Deadly Swirl, I do believe this is the similarity as another weapon, which I'm not gonna say yet. It cannot be cat spammed because of the manual guidance, but it is really fun to just keep on spamming through anyway when it's like coming towards you and whatnot from the enemy. Like when the enemy comes towards you and whatnot, then it's gonna be really difficult. But Deadly Swirl, no for cat spams, yes for casuals, for lows and moderates in this one because of the manual guidance. Next up is the Stormbringer. It does have the weakening ability in it, the critical ability, and it's an automatic type weapon, and it's really fun to use. So for this one, I will definitely recommend this for casuals, but it cannot be for cat spam wise because of the automatic type weapon. Pretty fast reload and pretty good amount of ammo as well too. Not much I can say about it, but that's it for Stormbringer for that one. Finally, it's the Cloud's Disperser. I do see a few folks use this weapon anyway. Sorry. I almost had another hiccup again. Cloud Disperser, it does have like a blinding ability, but it cannot be cat spam wise, unfortunately, because of a delay of one when swapping over. So no for cat spams, but for casuals, I will definitely say yes for lows, moderates, and maybe a little bit for high level players as well too. Because for Cloud Disperser, like I said, for the blinding ability, it will be a little bit annoying as well too when people use this anyway. And I believe probably not bots use this weapon anyway, but I could be wrong. But for Cloud Disperser, no for cat spams, and for casuals, lows and moderates, and a little bit for high experience level players as well too. And that will conclude part 11 for Pixelgun 3D 100 weapon tier list. Thank you guys so much for watching, and once again, I do apologize if I did not do any uploads for videos for the last few weeks because I was busy thinking about thumbnail ideas as well too, and also been working on game build projects as well too for my Minecraft stuff. So don't worry, most of my Minecraft stuff will be there and whatnot, but don't forget, it's more like game build project ideas I have in mind. So just be aware about it, and I will be doing gameplay about it once I finish up most of the stuff as well too. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye, Lightning Strike.